What's up, guys? Today we're going to be comparing the iPhone 13 to the Galaxy S10. We have the new iPhone versus an older flagship here. The iPhone is going to set you back 800 bucks. Galaxy S10, I picked this one up off eBay for 250 bucks. I'll drop that link down below. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with hardware here. So you have a glass and metal design on both of these phones here. And as far as the, weight, and the iPhone definitely feels heavier than the S10. S10 is slightly taller, and you guys can see the button layout here. Show you the left side. Boom. Now, there is one important thing about the hardware is that the S10 actually retains a headphone jack. So the iPhone does not have any type of headphone jack. They both also have stereo speakers as well, which is really nice. So we'll get into that. But as far as the design, I think the S10 definitely looks better from the front here, which we will get into. Now, as far as the front of the phone here, we do have the Super Retina XDR OLED display on the iPhone 13, HDR10, 6.1 inches, 1170 by 2532, 460 for the PPI. On the S10, we do have the dynamic AMOLED display, HDR10 plus, 6.1 inches, 1440p, 550 for the PPI. So exactly the same screen size, but as you can see, the big difference is that you have the punch hole versus the slightly smaller notch now on the iPhone 13, but it's still, doesn't look as good as the punch hole. And also, you have sort of like a more bezel-less experience on the S10 because the glass is curved, so it just feels like it's like all screen kind of. And yeah, so I would definitely take the higher res punch hole display of the S10 over the iPhone's notch display here. They both are pretty good looking displays. The S10 is slightly a little bit more vibrant in color. The colors just seem to pop a little bit more, and it is overall just a slightly higher res display, so you can actually take advantage of watching 2K videos on the S10's display here. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the specs a little bit more. iOS 15 on the 13 with the Apple A15 chip, and then we have 128 gigs of internal storage, 4 gigs of RAM, no SD card support. On the S10, we do have Android 11 with One UI, the Snapdragon 855, Adreno 640, micro SD support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 6 gigs of RAM here. So obviously, the A15 is going to outscore the 855 here, but honestly, they're both very fast phones. I think the S10 is still pretty fast, and also it's a very good phone for gaming as well. If you guys check out my gaming test, you can still play games pretty much the same as you can on the iPhone 13. And so as you can see, S10 is able to keep up here. Actually got into YouTube first there. Boom. Instagram. You can see the S10 actually loaded that up, so the S10 is actually getting into applications sometimes a little bit faster than the 13. So still a very fast and capable phone for those of you that are curious. Yes, the S10 will be able to get the Android 12 update as well, which is going to be really nice. And as far as your gaming performance is actually going to be pretty much the same on both of these phones. You'll be able to play PUBG, Call of Duty, Fortnite, pretty much at the same settings. You can actually play Fortnite at 60 FPS on the S10, by the way. It looks like the 13 got in here first. S10 right behind it here. Let's go ahead and show you guys the graphics here. So you can see the exact same graphics, Ultra HD on both of these phones. And again, the gaming experience, I still, I think it comes down a lot to display. So you do have a better display on the S10. So I will prefer gaming on here. But as far as, just gaming in general, they're both going to play extremely smooth, very fast. Both of these phones have stereo speakers. Let's go ahead and hear what they sound like side by side. Max volume. The 13 definitely has more bass, but they're about equal in terms of volume here. But the 13 does have the more bassier sort of sound here. And I believe Dolby Atmos is on here, so I can turn it off and see if we get a little bit more bass here. Let's find out. No, not really. I think it sounds better with Dolby Atmos on. Yes, so they're both equal in terms of just loudness, but the 13 does have the overall more bassier punch right here. So let's talk about some additional features. One really cool additional feature that you get with the S10 is that you get the wireless power sharing mode on here. So if I wanted to charge the 13 here, or just anything that's compatible with wireless charging, I could do that. So that's a pretty cool little nifty feature on here. And you also have, a ton of other little stuff. The in-display fingerprint sensor on the S10 is pretty good as well. You also get the option to do face unlock on this phone too, which is really nice. And you also have Samsung desktop support on here. With the iPhone, of course with software, it has all the stuff that a lot of people like iMessage, FaceTime, all that stuff. That's really, more of an iOS thing, but those are some of the, essential things for iPhone. Also, you only have face unlock on the iPhone. So like I said, I would like to see a physical fingerprint scanner in the power button or under the display and give us two options. So as far as additional features, those are what you're working with here. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the cameras here. So you do have a triple camera setup on the S10. It is a 12 megapixel standard and a 12 megapixel telephoto, a 16 megapixel ultra wide with 4K video at 60 FPS, and then you have a 10 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 30 or 60 FPS. I am still a huge fan of the S10's cameras, especially for, $250 price point it's going for now. You're still getting some really good shots, as you can see. Very vibrant, colorful photos. You also get pretty good detail on here as well. Also, video is pretty solid. The selfie is pretty solid on here. Overall, I just have no complaints with this older flagship. I think the image quality has aged really well on this phone. So with the iPhone 13, of course, you're going to get, the flagship, quality photos, 12 megapixel standard and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 4K video at 60, 30, or 24 FPS. And then you also have a 12 megapixel selfie at 4K, 60, 30, or 25 or 24 FPS. And you're also getting some very good photos, up there with the top, camera phones, the Galaxies, the Pixels. You're going to get just great color. Also good detail, also very good in low light situations as well. You get a pretty cool feature called the cinematic mode on here, which gives you a really cool depth of field. And also, it's just going to be an overall solid camera for video as well too. So definitely great cameras on both of these guys. Alright guys, let's go ahead and talk about battery life. So you do have a 3,400 milliamp battery on the S10 here, 15 watt charging with wireless charging, and like I said, reverse wireless charging. On the iPhone 13, you do have a 3,240 milliamp battery, 20 watt charging, along with the MagSafe wireless charging. And you definitely get better battery life on the iPhone 13, somewhere around 7 to 8 hours of screen on time. With the S10, depending on your battery health, you get around 6 hours of screen on time, which is still pretty good. So I have no issues with battery life. I can get through a full day with both of these phones, no problem. So that is pretty much it, guys. Be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.